There are many training courses and manuals available for Adobe Illustrator. As Illustrator is widely used across many different industries, most of the available training courses and manuals will detail all the features and functionality, many of which are not relevant to the fashion industry. It is hard to know which areas you should learn and which areas you should ignore. It is also not always apparent how certain tools or features can be best adapted and used for drawing fashion. For example, you may be shown how to draw a banana, but what you actually need to know is how to create a zipper. With Illustrator for Fashion training, users are only taught the features and functionality that are relevant to drawing fashion, and how to best use the tools to achieve professional, efficient and accurate fashion flats and illustrations. The course is split into 3 levels. Level 1 aimed at beginners who have had no experience with Adobe Illustrator and goes through all the core tools and functionality you will need to draw basic fashion flats. Levels 2 and 3 are aimed at users that have a basic working knowledge of the tools in Illustrator who are now looking for more advanced skills and techniques to bring their fashion drawings to life. The Illustrator for Fashion course can be taken by students, freelance designers, company design employees and anyone else interested in learning how to produce professional fashion flats and illustrations using industry best practice techniques. Benefits for students include: learn how to draw professional fashion flats and illustrations that are industry standard and follow best practice, learn the design and product development workflow and how to create all the documentation you will be required to produce to support this process, improve your skills and portfolio, become more attractive to potential employers, keep up to date with the latest features and functionality in every new release of Adobe Illustrator. Benefits for companies include: enable designers to keep pace with quick turnaround times through fast and efficient drawing techniques, minimize sampling and production mistakes through accurate and detailed fashion drawings, improve design efficiency through reusable trim and component libraries, standardise drawing techniques across the design department so that designers can easily update and adapt each other's drawings, increase design productivity, learn to prepare design files effectively for downstream processes and integration into other supporting business systems, and finally keep up to date with the latest features and functionality in every new release of Adobe Illustrator. This Level 1 Beginners course is for students who have not used Adobe Illustrator before. Before we even open Illustrator, we'll run through the course structure and all the terminology you will need to understand to follow the course. We'll also walk through the design and product development process used in industry and highlight where as a designer you will be contributing and using Illustrator. As we get into Illustrator itself, we'll start by introducing you to the Illustrator interface so you can get to know your way around the application. You will then be ready to start learning all the core tools and features needed to produce basic fashion flats. In the second part of the course, we'll start putting your newly acquired skills into practice by walking through how to draw a selection of garments. So what equipment will you need to take the course? Well, most obviously, you will need either a Mac or a PC. Ideally, you also need a copy of Adobe Illustrator installed. You can watch the tutorials without, but it's always easier to learn when you can follow along. In regards to which is preferable, a Mac or a PC, then it really doesn't matter. Many people falsely believe that you must have a Mac for design work, and whilst it does seem to be the weapon of choice for a lot of designers, this is more trend and personal preference rather than any underlying technological or functional advantage. Adobe Illustrator is exactly the same program, producing exactly the same results regardless of which platform you choose to run it on. Perhaps the only benefit, if you are just starting out and are looking to invest in a new machine, is a lot of design rooms will already be furnished with Macs, so knowing your way around the Macintosh operating system may be beneficial. In terms of which Illustrator version, then that is up to you and what you have available. If you are working for a company, you will likely be restricted to whatever version the company is currently working with. If you are a freelancer or just starting out, then it is worth investing in the latest Creative Cloud subscription version. Not only does the payment model allow for a monthly subscription to spread the cost, but there are many great features relevant to fashion drawing that are not available in previous versions. You will also get any new releases automatically. All the tutorials in this course are based on the latest version of Illustrator, and each time there is a new release on the Creative Cloud, the course is updated with any new features or updates that are relevant to fashion drawing. Of course, if you already have a license to a previous version of Illustrator, then you can still follow these tutorials as many of the core features remain the same. You will just find that sometimes functions are explained that you do not have access to. A lot of designers prefer to work with a digital pen and tablet rather than a mouse. Here at Illustrator for Fashion, we prefer to use a combination of mouse and graphics tablets depending on the task. Some functions you may find easier with a mouse, for example the pen tool. Other features you may find easier with a pen and tablet, for example the pencil tool. All of the tutorials you can follow with either, so it's entirely up to you. As we are going through the tutorials, if any function has a keyboard shortcut, I will tell you what that shortcut is for both PC users and Mac users. You will also see a call-out appear on the video displaying the shortcut for both PC and Mac. Throughout the course you will hear terms such as left-click or right-click. This refers to which button on your mouse you should use, with click meaning click once. If I just say click, then always assume it means left mouse click. If it is a right click, then I will always specify this. You will also hear the terms drag and drop. Drag means to hold the left mouse button down and move the mouse to the desired position, and drag and drop means to hold the left mouse button down and move the mouse to the desired position and then release the mouse button. There are three main types of fashion drawing: flat, freehand, and life drawing or fashion illustration. Flat drawings are a 2D representation of the garment as if it were laid on a flat surface. They do not include any crease or movement lines and are the closest representation of what the pattern pieces to make the garment would look like. With this in mind, they are usually the most suitable types of drawing to use on tech packs to send to suppliers, as they are the most accurate technical drawing of the style. This is because if you include creases, folds and movement lines in tech pack drawings, there is a danger they may be misinterpreted. You may end up with unwanted seam lines in your samples otherwise. Unless the style itself is asymmetric, then a flat drawing will usually be symmetrical. Freehand drawings are similar to flat drawings, but they are a bit more stylized to convey the look and feel as well as just the technical aspects. They often include creases, folds and shading to make the overall look more 3D and realistic and less flat. They may be symmetrical, but often they are asymmetrical, to give the impression of the garment being worn or on a hanger. They are a good middle ground between a flat and an illustration, and many companies will use freehand type drawings on all design documentation, including tech packs. A life drawing or fashion illustration can be the most realistic representation of a garment, as it shows how the garment would look when being worn by a moving figure. Sometimes the life drawing will include the figure, more often referred to as a fashion illustration. Sometimes the figure will not be visible, but the look of the garment will still be as if a figure were in it. There are many types of fashion illustration. Sometimes they may look realistic, often they are heavily stylized to convey a mood or theme as well as just the look of a garment. As they are time-consuming to produce and edit, they are not always used, particularly for every style in a collection. Typically, they would be used more for sales books, presentation boards and editorials rather than sent to suppliers. Throughout the course, you will hear a variety of new terminology used in Adobe Illustrator. To get us going, though, there are a number of key terms that you will hear repeatedly right from the get-go, so it helps to have an understanding of what is being referred to. Let's run through what you need to know up front. Artboard, a printable portion of the work area where you produce your artwork. Object, a shape formed by any number of curved and straight lines called paths. A path, the lines that form the shape of an object. A path is made up of one or more straight or curved segments. Anchor point, a point on a path between each segment. Anchor points can either be defined as curve points or corner points and can be manipulated to alter the shape of the path. Open path, a path that has two endpoints, for example a wavy line. Closed path, a path that has no endpoints, for example a circle. Bounding box, a temporary frame around a selected object that shows the object's outer dimensions, used to transform an object, for example move, rotate and scale. Raster image, raster images are made of pixels. A pixel is a single point or the smallest single element in a display device. Adobe Photoshop produces raster images. Vector image. Vector images are mathematical calculations from one point to another that form geometrical shapes. Adobe Illustrator produces vector images.